Hello YouTube, Robert Alvarez, the Psychic Witch, also known as Mr. Lighting in a Fan. Good evening to all of you in YouTube land. I hope and pray that all of you and yours are happy and healthy, safe and well. Right now the time is approximately 9:36 p.m. Eastern Time, and the date is Wednesday, May 4th, 2022. To my fellow Star Wars fans, May the 4th be with you. Oh, let me talk to Drake, more commonly known as my awesome audiovisual person from my YouTube videos. Drake, would you do me a favor and start that timer, please? Thank you very much. I'd like to keep my videos short and sweet when I can. You know what I mean, right? Right. Okay, so the official title of this video is Living and Loving Learning Lenormand. So I want to tell you, I've really been enjoying learning Lenormand while offering professional Lenormand readings. Eventually, I'm going to branch out and do other spreads, but I really love the 3x3 spread. It's basically, essentially the 3x3 spread is 3 rows, and each row has 3 cards. And I love the versatility of the 3x3 spread because generally speaking, one can read the rows, the columns, and the corners. And it really works for me. It works for my clients and it works for me. So it's not just that it's the only one I'm ever going to use, but it has spoiled me. Now, so far, I have read 2 books on Lenormand. Both books were good, although I find I enjoyed the second book more. And my intention is that once I've read 4 books about Lenormand, I'm going to do a video where I talk about each of those books individually during the same video. The first book was okay. I found that the translation from French to English really wasn't that good. In fact, I actually thought the translation from French to English could have been a whole lot better. But the thing that I loved most about that book was that the author was able to access a historical document that proved that Mademoiselle Lenormand used a spread called the 25 Portrayals. And essentially, the spread consists of 5 rows of 5 cards each. And what Mademoiselle Lenormand used to do was she would pull 2 additional cards. The top card was a good surprise. The bottom card was an unpleasant surprise. So I can see myself using the 25 Portrayal spread in the future. Now, virtually everybody who's ever offered Lenormand readings or consulted with Lenormand has heard of Le Grand Tableau, which is the spread that uses all 36 cards of the Lenormand deck. Personally, I still find that spread daunting. And I know why I find it daunting because, you know, when I offer sessions, when I do readings at public venues, I don't usually have like a huge table. It's pretty much a table that is, you know, on the small side. But I definitely could see myself doing a grand tableau if, let's say, I had a table large enough, and if the client was going to have a 1-hour session. Because I don't think that I could do a grand tableau for under an hour. I mean, I could be wrong, but I could see how, like, yeah, I can just see, like, it probably will be so involved, so, but we'll see. When I'm ready to do Le Grand Tableau, I'll find out for sure. Anyway, but I actually started reading a new, well, it's not a new book per se, but I think it was published within the last few years, and I'm definitely looking forward to getting more into the book. The book is really good. I got a good vibe about it almost immediately, actually. So it was more of an intuitive purchase than anything else. And it just so happens that the two people who wrote it co-founded a tarot organization, tarot. I'll have more details when I talk about that book in that future video. Then I'll say more about what they're involved with regards to tarot. And I purchased actually two new Lenormand decks. In fact, they were featured on one of my newest favorite Lenormand YouTube channels, and I will talk a little bit about the two Lenormand themed YouTube channels that have been really helpful for me and enjoyable for me as well. But in a moment. So I've been finding some really great Lenormand decks, and there was a Lenormand deck that I actually need to purchase because it was already published. When I first found out about the deck, it was not available yet because it had not been published yet. But I didn't want to pre-order it, which is ironic because when it comes to pre-ordering things, that's my jam. I'm more than happy to pre-order something. It could be a book, it could be a deck. That always makes me happy. So yeah. But for right now, I will definitely say Lenormand has been really fun for me. It's been exciting for me. I find some amazing insights. And my psychic guides have given me very specific instructions on how to conduct a Lenormand reading. I actually would like to share with you something that I did recently. So, some of you know that there are some people that I hold in very high esteem. And one of those people, I actually did a Lenormand reading for him as a belated birthday gift. And I used two different Lenormand decks in the same reading at the same time. And it was so fascinating to me. And what really fascinated me, and in the back of my mind, I had a feeling that this was going to happen. So again, I used two different Lenormand decks, which right now are two of my top favorites. They are the Gilded Ravary Lenormand, written and illustrated by the Shiro Marchetti, and the Lunar Nomad Oracle, which is technically a Lenormand deck. It is officially an oracle card deck inspired by Lenormand and adapted from Lenormand. But officially it's an oracle card deck. But for me, especially given the first 36 cards, or technically the first 38 cards, it's a Lenormand deck for sure. But I really love the deck, and that was written and illustrated by the Shaheen Miro. Love, love, love them. They are so brilliant. They're brilliant writers, brilliant artists. I love their energies, and really, and I've noticed that when it comes to Lenormand decks, I really dig expanded decks. Like a deck that has 36 cards, I'll use it. And I do have two Lenormand decks that have the 36 cards. But I find that Lenormand decks that have more than 36, they're my jam. They're absolutely my jam. And I really dig them. And I resonate with them a whole lot more than the decks that just have 36 cards. But that doesn't mean that I'm not going to ever use Lenormand decks that have 36 cards. There is a really great website called thegamecrafter.com, and I have found some amazing tarot decks, oracle card decks, and Lenormand decks on that website. And one of them, I purchased two versions of it because one version has 54 cards, and it's a poker bridge sized card deck, and the other one is a 64 card, which has even more additional cards. Both the same deck, same person who wrote it and illustrated it, but the mini deck has 10 more cards. And and in case you're wondering, yes, both of those decks will be part of a future walkthrough video. And I actually have a feeling that I will just do one video featuring both of those Lenormand decks. I'm not going to go into too much detail right now, but given what little I've told you about these decks, if you see a 54, if you do visit thegamecraft.com and you do a search for Lenormand, and you take a look at, like, if one deck has 54 cards and then another deck, which is virtually identical, has 64, then you'll have an idea as to which one it is. You're more than welcome to guess in the comments, by the way. Anyway, so Lenormand is fun. I find it fun. I find Lenormand intriguing. I love the different associations with the different symbols. And of course, you know, one thing that I do want to make clear, and this is something that I knew instinctively, but it was recently confirmed through one of these two particular YouTube channels, is that just because there is a card in Lenormand that has the same name as a tarot deck doesn't mean that it is identical in interpretation to that card in tarot. But anyway, so what I wanted to say was that the two decks that I used, the Sun card from Lenormand came out in the 8th card position, meaning 3 rows of 3, 9 cards total. Card number 8 in both the casting of the Gilded Reverie Lenormand and the Lunar Nomad Oracle was the Sun card. And I do not mind telling you that seeing it blew my mind. Even though in the back of my mind I knew this was going to happen, in the same position was what was like, whoa. I mean, if I had seen the same card here and here, Gilded Reverie Lenormand, Lunar Nomad Oracle, like let's say the Sun card was card 1 and in Gilded Reverie Lenormand, and the Sun card was card 6 and the Lunar Nomad Oracle, I wouldn't have been entirely surprised. But the same card in the same position with two different Lenormand decks that I shuffled thoroughly and that the recipient shuffled thoroughly, that blew my mind. Big time. Big time. So, yeah. But I really love the fact that it came out in the same position for this particular individual that I hold high esteem. And I really have no doubt that a lot of good things are happening for him even as I speak. A lot of new doors are opening up for him that are going to make him a lot happier, give him a boost of health and well-being, physical, emotional, and spiritual. And I definitely, I will say that it motivated me and it excited me even more to continue moving forward in my studies with Lenormand. Now, the two YouTube channels that I have been enjoying the most with regards to Lenormand, the first one is called Card Geek. And I love Card Geek. She is super cool. She is so cool. She has spiky hair. She is very knowledgeable about Lenormand. And I really dig her recommendations and how she teaches. Right now, my favorite of Card Geek's videos is the 5 recommendations she has for people learning Lenormand. That one I really enjoyed a lot. I really did. The other person whose YouTube channel I love, her YouTube channel is Lisa Loves Lenormand. And her name is Lisa Sutton Young. And what I love about her book, and I will have a link to the book in the description box, is that she began learning Lenormand and she began writing about Lenormand as she was learning. And I love that. I don't know why, but that really made me happy, that really impressed me. And I was like, that's super cool. So, and I love her energy, I love her voice, I love how she teaches. She has what looks like to me a wand, a wooden wand that she uses when she's talking about Lenormand cards. So definitely check out her YouTube channel. Actually check out both Card Geek and Lisa Loves Lenormand if you are intrigued about Lenormand, if you want to strengthen your Lenormand studies, if you want to learn more about Lenormand. And for all I know, those of you who are watching this video probably have already known about these two YouTube channels forever. And I'm just new to the scene with regards to these two YouTube channels, these two beautiful, phenomenal YouTube channels. Anyway, let me take a sip of my coffee. Yes, my on-screen mug has returned. It's not as warm as it was, so you know. Anyway, but it's still good though, because you know I made it. Anyway, thank you so much to all of you in YouTube land for honoring who I am and what I do. And thank you for honoring Drake, more commonly known as my awesome audiovisual person for my YouTube videos and everything he does too. Of course, thank you for all the likes. Thank you for all the comments. Thank you for all the shares. Thank you for all the subscriptions to my YouTube channel. And an especially big and beautiful and bountiful thank you to all of you who have been scheduling your sessions and to all of you who have bought me a coffee. I wish all of you a beautiful night, a wonderful week, a wonder-filled weekend, and stay tuned for the next video.